The Central Club.
Do you need a work uniform? Want to start a clothing brand? Or maybe you have a football kit that needs a logo printed? Well, if I was you, I'd get in touch with the Re-Inspire Printing Company down Treforest Industrial Estate for the finest printing and embroidery in Wales. I use them for my custom-made mankini, but you could use them for t-shirts, hats, hoodies, and many, many other things. Do you need a new whip? Is your jalopy letting you down? Well, if I was you, I'd get in touch with Ryan Scott Motor Group down on Bessemer Road, Cardiff, for some of the best deals around. Our sponsors promises their customers free delivery, finance arranged, part exchange accepted, and no buyer or admin fees. It also includes HPI and category clear, and all vehicles are warranted. Again, Ryan Scott Motor Group. Get in touch. What's going on, people? Welcome to the Central Club. This episode is brought to you by Re-Inspire Printing and Ryan Scott Motor Group. If you haven't already, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe to the club, and whilst you're at it, hit that notification bell for future content. Today we have a very special guest, a big man with a big character, a man of many talents. He's a former Bareknuckle fighting champion, actor, and now a successful podcast host. He's from the border city of Cumbria, Carlisle. It's none other than Decca Heggie.
Welcome on, Deck.
Thank you, guys.
You missed author out of that as well.
Yeah, author.
Was you the author of it? Is that what it...
I got a ghostwriter to write the book.
Okay. What was that like, writing that book?
To be honest with you, I wasn't quite happy with it because it wasn't all in my own words. It was more of the ghostwriter's words. Where if I do a second one, and I want to do a second one, that'll be more me speaking about my demons and how I get over them and how I handle my mental health.
And are you trying to tell me then, so basically this guy would have contacted you a couple of times in a period of time?
I stayed at his house.
For how long?
A couple of times, just over like a few months period, just getting all the notes down, but it just wasn't...
So when you say what, he actually wrote most of that, did he? Like, he did the writing. How much input did you have? What was your input?
I had input, but it wasn't... See, when my expose comes out, the guy that was that was praised to high heavens in the book, he's actually turned out to be a wanker.
Okay. That's why you don't like the book then. No. It's tainted, really, innit? Well, yeah, Deck, this has been like longly anticipated. You know, we were meant to get you down a couple months ago. How was your stay in Cardiff?
Heavy night on the whiskey.
Nah. Do you enjoy Cardiff though? I know it was quite dark, wasn't it, when you come, but the people, last night we had a heavy drink and you met a lot of people. Like, what you
Game was on as well, Wales were playing.
Yeah.
Do you know what, mate? You've got a good family. That's what I'll say. The only advice I would give is never mix drink with medication.
Yeah, well, we were meant to start, I think, normally we start about 9:30. We said we'll give it 10 a.m. It's now 12:45 and we're just getting started. And that's because we're all quite rough, so...
Bit of that.
Listen, Deck, honestly, I appreciate you coming down. I come across you via Darren. You've done a podcast with Darren G. And I think, it was very interesting, and I wanted to dive into your story to get to know a bit more about you. We started speaking on a regular basis, and I was even lucky enough to jump on your podcast to tell you my story. We're still new. We're like on episode 28, 29, something like that. We're a Welsh podcast, and I would love to jump in more about your story and get the people who watch us to hear your story, to inspire, to teach the people watching. Do you think we could dive in at the beginning of your story and just run through that way?
100%. I had a really good upbringing. So mum and dad, brilliant, brother, sister. I was kind of the black sheep of the family.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Do you want to know something? I always felt an emptiness in my life. So when I was growing up as a child, to about probably 15, I started going to the doctors for my mental health at 15-year-old due to depression. See, at that age, when you're young, you don't understand mental health. So it's like, you wake up with now, because I understand it now because I'm older, but when you're young, you wake up and you just try and shake it off and you don't understand the mindset at the time. And I used to always wake up depressed and just felt an emptiness in my life. Always felt lonely, even though I had a loving family around me, but just always
Something missing.
It's not something they talk about in schools either, so it's like you've got to go through it on your own, haven't you? Do you know what I mean?
See, that's one thing I will say is I think mental health should be talked about in schools more.
Most definitely.
Because as a child, you don't understand it. I mean, me speaking about it now, obviously people will be watching this with a lot of the things that I'll say throughout this interview. People will connect with it, where that should be teachers talking about stuff like that, because teachers, it doesn't matter what kind of job you're in, everyone suffers mental health in some way.
It should be like understanding and prevention early on, rather than taking lessons from people who it's too late for, or they've lived that type of life, you know. And it's sad, it's the way of the world, but that's what we're trying to do now as podcasters, try and raise awareness for that type of stuff. Do you know what I mean? When you was in school then, was you like a sporty type of person? Like, what was you as a young 15-year-old kid?
I was a really good footballer.
Really?
Yeah,
really good.
Under 17s, under 18s, was it? Or
when I played under 14s, I scored 98 goals in 27 games.
Wow.
But my brother beat that record, actually.
Really?
Yeah, he got 105, I think.
Fucking hell.
In a season.
Bloody hell.
That's fucking bigger than Mo Salah and like that. I know it's park football, but, you know. Was there any, like a prospect of any of you turning, like, good of doing professional?
I was really good. I had teams looking at me. But what happened was when I was playing under 17s, I was playing against Newcastle in the FA Youth Trophy, and I pulled my hamstring. And what happened after that was I kind of like lost interest, because it was a really bad injury. So like coming back from it was quite tough. And then I just found like weights and got into like weightlifting and kind of wanting to be a big boy.
Was your dad like into weightlifting and training hard?
My dad was a tough man.
Yeah.
My dad was a hard man. He was well known in the town for being tough. The thing is with me, when I grew up as a kid, I used to always hear the stories of my father. Like, he used to come in from the pub talking about like the fights he had.
Really?
But I would sit on the top of the stairs and I would listen into like...
So he wouldn't tell you like, hey son, this is what I've been doing. It's more of like you'd hear it from other people.
I would hear it from him and his friends in the house on the night.
So you knew your dad was a bit of a boy. What was Carlisle like? Sorry, how old are you about now?
I'm 37 now.
Yeah, you said that was quite
What a rough life.
No. I want to think like, so you're talking 80s in Carlisle growing up. What was, because, you know, I've heard stories, Carlisle, you know, the border town of Scotland, and it's quite rough. Like, what was it like for you growing up in the 80s?
Well, I grew up probably early 90s, wasn't it?
Early 90s. Yeah,
I was born 83.
Yeah, I'm 91, I'm 30, so yeah, he was born in the 80s, but it was early 90s, really.
But see, Carlisle, if you want to have a fight, just go to Carlisle.
Really?
You'll get it, Botchagate.
Attitude, yeah, everywhere.
It's the capital of fighting. And Carlisle breeds tough men. So me growing up, the thing is, you're a product of your environment.
Of course.
So I had a rough council estate, and my father was a tough man. So the thing is with me, I grew up with kind of... See, I was a bit of a shit... I was shit scared when I was young. I used to get bullied as a kid at 11, 12-year-old. I didn't have any fight in me whatsoever. And I would sometimes not tell my dad that I was getting picked on, because he would take me around to the house.
Yeah, and you don't want to have the confrontation there either.
Yeah.
Come on, son, I'll take you. Dad, I don't want to. I'll get fucked up there as well.
Just avoided confrontation.
Yeah.
I just didn't want to fight. Didn't have it in me. And I think I was probably about 14, 15. But the thing is, before this, I used to watch, I've spoken about this on Sean Atwood before, I used to watch Lenny McLean. Now, Lenny McLean, the Guvnor.
Yeah, it's mad, isn't it?
It's crazy because, I mean, I'm 37 now. It's like people think, how do you look up to a violent man like that? But I never used to take inspiration from the violence. It was more of how he took care of business.
Yeah.
When I was a kid, I was like, you know, when you become infatuated with something, and I used to...
I think we've all been through it, especially the fighting men. The books. I remember my dad had a book, The Hard Bastards. It had McLean in it.
Cray.
Yeah. It had Shaw in here, Roy Shaw. A couple. Who's the Irish one he had in here? The Madman, I think it was. Like, but it was more of like just mad men. Like, do you know what I mean? Not just hard people. But like, I remember being fascinated between the McLean and the Shaw fights and that and stuff like that. So yourself being like the product of your environment, a fighting man as well, probably being bullied, looking up to something like that is, you know, everything.
I think most, when you watch podcasts, I think most tough men have been through a phase of being bullied as a kid.
They say the bully becomes the bully. That's what they say, don't they?
No, well, the bully becomes bullied. The bully becomes bullied. The bully becomes the bully.
Sometimes people do become bullies in life through being bullied, but I never did that.
No.
I can't stand bullies. I don't like it. And have you seen on my podcast, I defend people.
Yeah.
So when I see people that are in the right, I'll always put my neck on the line when I shouldn't. I don't have to.
No.
I kind of like sometimes bring my own drama by sticking up for somebody and then getting a lot of shit for it.
Did you have many friends then growing up, or was you more of just a lone soldier, a lone wolf?
I had good friends at school, but do you want to know something? I always just felt lonely in my mind. It's crazy because when you're brought up in a good household, people would think, well, there's no excuse to feel lonely, depressed. But I always just had an emptiness inside my head. And the thing is, I think that's where my addictions with the drugs came into it later in life, because I was always trying to fill a void.
Deck, your shirt, you set one button, just one. No, just the one button there.
Yeah?
No, the button
down.
There's a bit of OCD.
Seeing your belly buttons hanging out.
You would rather someone say, "Oh, why didn't they say about that button?" Do you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, I know what you mean.
So I thought I'd nip it in the bud early days. But
go on.
You're gonna do it up then or what? I got his belly button staring me in the eye.
He's doing it on purpose.
Oh,
I've fucking seen it.
I know.
Fair, fuck you, no, that's fucking class. Now, do you know what though, Deck? Like, not to go in about me because this is about you, but like, I've always said it since I met you, and Luca, you said it as well, didn't you? I see a lot of me in you with the sense of crying out for help. My family had everything, I had everything, and I still. Innit?
Similar, like since you come off the train and we, stayed with you yesterday. It's a lot of similarities I see between you two, in just the way that you deal with things.
I'm just harder, that's all.
Do you know something? See me, I'm Jekyll and Hyde. Me, I have two sides. I'm a gentleman, and then I can become an animal.
I suppose that's part of your bipolar, though, isn't it? Do you know what I mean?
I just lose sometimes in life. I can lose all sense of reality and just lose total control.
That's a scary thing, though.
Mental. And I think sometimes, see, I don't drink often, but sometimes alcohol can bring the bad out of me.
You picked the fucking day, didn't you? I'll come to Cardiff, do an interview, but I'm getting pissed in the night.
Sometimes I used to, mostly when I drink, I was hoping to use this platform to speak about it, but I have really bad social anxiety. People don't get it. Big, strong lad, tattoos, goes to the gym, tough fella. But I get the fear of crowded places and being around people, being around strangers. I build up an anxiety in my mind. I build a monster in my head. But anxiety is just fear. People don't understand it. When I went to a psychiatrist about my bipolar, they said, "Do you want to know what anxiety is?" I went, "What?" Because I didn't understand it. Why am I always getting like breathless, and I'm getting on trains and I feel like I can't breathe, and people are looking at me thinking I'm a weirdo, but then you're actually escalating that fucking anxiety by constantly overthinking. And that's what it is, fear.
When did you start taking antidepressants?
I think I started taking metrazepine at about 19.
And was that self-referred, or was mum and dad like, listen?
I was in and out of the doctors probably 15.
Yeah, you said you was there at 15, so was that from your mother and father as well? Like, you need to go and see someone? Or was that like, Mum, Dad, I need help?
See, the thing is with me, I find it hard to open up to my family because you probably know this yourself, you don't want to worry them.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%.
Because what you're doing is, like, when you open up to your parents or your family, you're actually building another anxiety in your head because now you're worrying that they're overthinking or they're getting worried.
How many people I know whose parents have died of a broken heart? They haven't died of like anything else. It's either their family members on drugs, they're selling drugs, they're in prison, they've passed away. People die of a broken heart. You know, you're not just hurting yourself. You're hurting everyone around you.
Mm-hmm. See, when I came here, I haven't drank. I turned to drink when I started getting anxiety because it takes it away. So that tipple of whiskey or a drink kind of like takes the edge off what I'm thinking.
But really, it's not taking it away; it's masking it.
Just masks it. So it's just a substitute, isn't it?
It's the perception you have of things before you make an action as well. You always, most of the times, 9 times out of 10, we think of something, I'm dreading it. But there's that saying in it, once you've done it, once you're out of bed, once you get there, you'll be fine.
It's not a problem.
You know, you come down, you said I was in the toilet 3 times on the way down here. You came round, you was like, what
was I worrying about?
What was I worried? I heard you say it to yourself.
You did
Why was I anxious about this? You know? And that's what people gotta, know that it's not always what you believe in your head, you know?
Your mind's almost like your worst enemy in a way, because it just when you're overthinking, you're thinking uninterruptedly, so you're putting yourself in a bad place. Realistically, there is no bad place. You're putting yourself in that place, but it's just about learning how to deal with it and what's the best way to deal with it.
See, sometimes I deal with it in the wrong way. I'll drink, and I shouldn't, but it's crazy because probably for the last 3 months I've not touched an alcoholic drink, and then I came down here, had a drink on the train because I was getting...
You're making me feel like we have a drink on the fucking
the Central Club
The
Central my drinking.
The Central Nightclub.
But
no, listen, obviously it's like an 8-hour travel, 9-hour travel.
Yeah.
If you got social anxiety anyway, and I said to you, like, he was going to come down another time before, and, I said to you last night, do you think, because we messed the dates up, didn't we? Yeah, it was both our faults. But I said to you, do you think a part of it on your behalf was because of, like, just anxiety? And you said, do you know what, I think it might have been. And so you drinking was just a masking it, like, kind of, really, innit,
I worry. If just say someone says to me, you've got to go to London. It's even when I got movie roles, when I was like doing films, you go to London, I would just panic. Like the week before the travel was fucking horrible because I was like, I'm like thinking about this one journey.
Yeah.
Wasting my energy and all that negativity on that one journey. But see, when you're overthinking it, that's you building anxiety in your head.
Well, you know about manifestation and that as well, innit? Like you manifest what happens, really, and if you're thinking something's gonna happen, and rest assured, it's more times than likely it's gonna happen, It's crazy. It is crazy. With your alcohol then, so obviously we'll go into it like when you started, but like you as a coke addict, tramadol addict, obviously I'm assuming the coke was hand in hand with the alcohol.
Yeah, cocaine, tramadol, codeine. And
this is at the same time you're taking antidepressants.
Everything.
So when you drink, like last night, do you ever, it's more than likely that you're thinking about taking cocaine as well, really, isn't it?
Not now. See, when I drink now, it masks the problem of the anxiety, but then it brings the monster out. You know what I mean? So it's like really...
Swapping demons.
Yeah, you can't have the best. It's like you got to have one or the other. You're either going to be a shell of a man or you're going to be a fucking horrible man. Which one do you want to be today, Deck?
See, that's the thing. See me sober, no drink, totally different fella. Once the drink heavily, see, I've got an addictive personality. So if I have one of something, I need 10. So if I have a pint, that's me on it all night. If I have a line of coke, I need a quarter.
Don't know when to call it a night. I think a lot of people suffer with that. Like, just don't know their limits, can't stop. It's difficult, isn't it? It's just like that self-discipline. Definitely. It's hard. It's just hard, isn't it? Do you know what I mean?
I think people don't expect a big tattooed man to be suffering mentally like I do. See, it's crazy to say, but I've never... for me, I can't find contentment and happiness. I can't get it. I love the podcast. I love doing my own show. I love coming on shows. I love talking. I like inspiring people. I get a buzz out of making people feel good. But myself, I just can't find that.
Do you always do self-destruct mode? Like, see me now as well. Like, I always think it's too good to be true. And like in any moment now, everything's going to go tits up.
When something good comes in my life, I don't expect
Shit
it to
on
last.
it. Shit on it yourself.
Bit scared of it.
Sometimes I've ruined good things. I've ruined relationships with women because of my own insecurities.
Trust me.
Do you know what I mean?
I know exactly what you mean, mate.
I
We
know
all
exactly
do.
what you mean, yeah.
You know? It's fucking crazy, innit, Dak?
It's something good. The thing is with me, it's people will connect with this that are watching it. That anything good that comes in my life, I always fuck it up. And this is the thing now. I'm in a position now. I'm doing a podcast show. I'm inspiring people. I've got to fucking change my ways because people look up to me. So anything I do on social media, because people are inspired by it and they follow you, they'll think it's good to do themselves.
100%.
So you've got to fucking...
You've got to be a good role model now.
As much as you go on about like trollings and stuff, you have a big fan base. A lot of people do rely on you on your videos, Dak, and what you say and what you have to offer and in experience. So you're right. You have got to watch how you act. It's a way of life, innit? You know. So obviously, when at the age of 15 and 16, between there and 21, you talk about it a lot on your videos, and I can relate with it a lot. It's the body dysmorphia. Could you go in a bit about that?
Body dysmorphia, see, even today, people would say I'm in shape, I go to the gym. When you look in that mirror, you don't see what the other person sees. The body dysmorphia goes back to being a kid. When you're called fatty, it's like women in abusive relationships or in a relationship where a man puts you down or a woman puts you down. You believe it. When it's constantly says to you, you actually believe it. So when I look in the mirror, I don't see a man in shape. So when I'm constantly going to the gym, training every day, I don't go to the gym to build muscles or look at myself and go, I'm in shape. I go to the gym to keep the mind healthy. That's all it is. Obviously, if people look at me and I'm putting size on or building muscle, then they see it, but I don't really see it.
A lot of bodybuilders, or I find as well, through the bodybuilders that I've met, they can never be satisfied with the size they have. You probably know because you've met a few, innit? They'll get big, but then they got to get bigger because they think they're small. But to an average person, you're like, this guy's do you know what I mean? He's massive. It's like it's like the carrot in front of your heads.
Yeah.
You're like that, chasing the carrot, and
Yeah.
What you're doing is you're creating an unrealistic imagination in your head. You're building something in your mind that doesn't exist.
Was relationships, was female attention a big part of it as well? Did you have a girlfriend when you was younger? Or did you have much luck with the girls when you were younger in school? Thought, no, I'm going to start getting, bigger?
The first girl I fell in love with was a lass called Becky when I was 19. She was 17, I think. And I fucked it up, cheated. Actually, I mentioned this in my book.
Was that the first girl you ever been with?
First ever.
So, yeah, it's not like you're like 15.
No,
and
not
this is the
sexual.
time where you're getting on drugs and that as well.
It was the first time. It was the first woman that I ever loved.
Fucking hell.
Properly. Like, not like you just feel...
love, like hot, like proper love.
I was infatuated with her. But the thing is with me, I think when I cheated or when I was a womanizer, I was being selfish for my own needs in the fact that I was always trying to fill a void. Do you know what? It doesn't matter whether I was with a woman or I'm in the gym or I do a podcast or I do a movie. To me, nothing satisfies me in the fact that I'm always looking for something. I'm looking for, and I know now, I'm looking for something that doesn't exist.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
It sounds preposterous, bro. You're bang on.
It feels like everyone has that. Like everyone's looking for something. They're always chasing something. Like, everyone's in a chase. Everyone's a slave to. Everyone's running to something. Do you know what I mean?
It's what, and it's not an excuse, but when I cheated on her, it was one of my biggest regrets ever. Like, it was like, what the fuck? I'm just like, because even thinking back now, because it's crazy because she never spoke to me for years and years and years. And then obviously I brought a book out. I think she read the book. Seeing that I actually apologised to her.
You done that on purpose to try and hope she would see it, I'm assuming?
Kind of, yeah. It was.
Is she still the one that got away?
Well, this is crazy, this.
No, is she still the one that got away?
What do you mean?
Is she the one that got away? Do you still love her?
Well, it's not love, is it? It's more of a regret of something that could have been.
A fantasy.
So was she the one that got away, basically?
Probably, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
I don't really speak about it. I mean, she's probably moved on in her life now anyways. But what happened was, when I did the dirty deed, she never spoke to me for years and years and years. And then I brought a book out in 2016, and I think she didn't contact me till about maybe 2019. She read the book. She actually sent me a picture on Facebook with the book.
Shut up.
Yeah. And I was like, and she seen that I apologised in the book because I actually apologised to her for doing it.
She never said anything about a thank you or...
Well, actually, it's crazy because we actually met up.
Wow.
We met up and had a drink, spoke for a while, and put that to bed.
That sounds like...
It's crazy because...
Yeah, you're friends now? Friends now?
But don't speak.
And that's helped you move on
okay.
from something that's maybe just baggage that you've held in your head.
It was something that I carried for a lot of years.
She from Carlisle?
Yeah.
How what's the population of Carlisle? So it's quite a small town. So everyone knows everyone.
Mm. So when we never spoke for years, we actually met up. She reached out to me with the book, and we met up and spoke, and I went for a meal, and we just wiped the slate clean from there.
Fair enough.
But like, obviously nothing in it.
But yeah, you like...
Fuck off!
You put it to bed.
Do you want to know something?
Put it to bed.
Put it to bed.
Do you know something? It's she. Like, I never speak about this. You're bringing it out of me now. But see, that is my biggest regret in life.
We all get them. We all get regrets.
At least you've got to like get your closure.
Do you know when do you know when you think back, when you know when you've had some, and this is continued as a domino effect in my life. Do you know when you have something so fucking good, and you just mug it off?
That's what we were just saying, isn't it?
Don't know what it's got till it's gone.
And it's like, I mean, I don't know what she's doing now, but I don't speak about it because it probably embarrasses her, me speaking about it. But
yeah,
it's just like, it's the one that got away, isn't it?
So when that happened, this is about 19, you said, yeah?
I was 19, I started taking steroids.
Do you think that's when the crack started to show? And
I started sniffing coke then. The crack started for me when I started taking steroids.
the crack? You were smoking crack?
No.
Oh, right.
I thought you said crack as well.
Oh, but that's what I thought you meant. Sorry.
Yeah.
So you mean
The
just
crack, like...
yeah.
The
Sorry.
crack.
The whole crack in the relationship with
Right.
with Becky started at 19 when I started taking steroids.
Okay, yeah.
Working the door, sniffing coke. But
Who was a young Decca Heggie working on the doors? Was you a bit of a arrogant man? Was you arrogant?
I had a chip on my shoulder.
Is that from your old man or carrying the name?
Just from me feeling lonely in life, in my mind.
What was the breaking point then for you, realising I can have a fight myself?
Probably 16 when I beat the bullies up.
That's what happened, yeah?
Knocked 10 bells of shit out of him. But it's crazy because it's mental because, like I say, do you know what it is? It's crazy because I've never spoke about this, really, but that biggest regret when I was 19 kind of like had a massive domino effect in my life.
Well, I'm glad
because after that, it's mental because I don't, you know what, Cole? I don't even think about it, and you've actually made me think about it now. So it's kind of like it's when I look back.
Epiphany, you're having an epiphany.
That was like, see, you know when you find someone.
Listen, can I say something quickly? They always say there's a root of every like addiction and stuff. There's a root. I always thought the root had to be someone dying. You know, you killing someone, something really, really bad. So I never ever looked for it because I never had that. You know, I had a good family, so I never had that. I realise now it could be the smallest of things. And now I know what my problems were. So
this is what I'm saying.
You know,
It's that baggage, and what happens is you're carrying the baggage because you haven't dealt with it. You haven't sorted that out with your ex-partner. You're getting tired of carrying it. It's mental baggage. Don't you get me? Don't get me wrong.
I carried. You know, I don't make any excuses for my actions in my life, but I think a lot of my actions and the way I was down to loneliness mentally, being lonely. I could stand in a room with 500 people and still feel alone.
Yeah.
It's fucking crazy, man.
I know, I can relate to that. I know
You
what
get
you
it?
mean. Yeah.
It's like now people see me as Mr. Popular and everyone likes me, and I don't see it.
You only see the odd hateful comments and you act on them instead of looking how much good you're doing for people.
I'm not bothered about fame. I'm not bothered about being famous or having 250,000 subscribers. That doesn't bother me. For me, there's just loneliness in my mind. I've carried that loneliness right throughout my life in the fact that it's all the actions that I've done. Cocaine, fucking steroids, tramadol, alcohol, cheating, being a womanizer. It's all been down to trying to satisfy my selfish needs and the fact that to feel wanted. So that big void, and I get this now because I'm 37, so I get it. I'm sitting here now, I know. I'm 37 and the switch is fucking flicked in my head. Decca, all this has been down to that loneliness. Sleeping with loads of women. Why? Because it makes me feel good. Because I felt worthless and horrible, and when you're called fat as a kid and your body dysmorphia and you don't feel good in yourself. I'm sleeping with loads of birds just for me to satisfy my own mental needs when really you're being a selfish bastard.
Yeah.
You get it?
Yeah. Would you sleep around with any bird, like people who got in relationships and that as well?
Back in the day,
yeah,
didn't care.
Yeah, same.
It's
short-term fix.
Yeah, I bet you feel offended if a girl don't don't look at you down the street. If you walk down the street and the girl don't take notice, you ever feel like?
I used to be bothered what people thought. I mean, I still am sometimes. I things with me now with women, I get scared of rejection. I don't want to ask someone out.
Well, don't offer it then, and you won't get rejected.
I know. That's why I don't.
I know. Listen, I've noticed it with you. You love women. You're a womanizer in a way. But, there's nothing, I always say, right, when people have said about, he's a weird, he's a wrong and all this, all the trolling. You're just a bloke who loves women. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that. Do you know what I mean?
I don't know if people understand this when they watch it, but my sexual desires and needs will probably be down to filling a void in my head, in something missing. It's crazy, because people are going to think, fucking, like, what you're talking about. When you feel a loneliness mentally, you're fighting mentally, you're mentally exhausting yourself to become someone that you're imagining in your head. You want to be this, you want everyone to like you, you want everyone to feel good about you want everyone to compliment you, and when you get one negative comment, instead of all the 100 lovely things have been said about you, that one negative comment will plant a seed in your head, and you take that on. Do you know what I mean?
I know what you mean. Colin's the worst for it.
Shut up! Come on, no.
Do you get it? Though?
No, of course I do. I'm a fucking people pleaser.
Yeah.
And when you don't, and you're like, why? Like, you do, but I've learned. I have definitely learned to just whatever.
From what we started to
for
now,
10
definitely.
years. No, but For 10 years, I was a fucking addict. Everyone hated me. I got to learn to live with it. Do you see what I mean? But yeah, it don't matter what you do in life, you still have that. I bet you had that in boxing. I bet you had that in acting. You want to be liked. You want to be the best,
Can we go back into your path as well?
Yeah, before we do, I did want to, before we go on to the boxing, obviously this ties into the trolling stuff and now, which is going on now. But when you was a doorman, there was a case that was in the newspaper article which people are using and twisting. I've read the article and what I make of it is just
bounce off on
a young
woman.
Yeah. Well, can you explain?
Yeah. I was 22. The lady in question was probably the same age. Used to go to the same gym as her. Used to speak to her in the gym. Got on. And I was actually off duty that night. I wasn't working as a doorman. I was in the club having a drink. And I was coming down the stairs. She was coming up. Walked past her. Slapped her ass. Like, just as you do. Thinking that it's a good thing. It's not gentlemanly, is it?
Like almost like a banter, like, oh.
Aye, but because I knew her. Like, it wasn't a stranger. I knew her from the gym. And then, unbeknownst to me, 2 hours later, I'm walking out the nightclub, the fucking police come and arrest us. Got a £200 fine.
You can see, though, now, this day and age, that's unacceptable, though, isn't it?
100%. I mean, I'm not going to walk by. The thing is, back then, everything's coming to light now with all this Me Too movement and stuff.
Yeah.
But back then, it's like just
A way of
fucking
life.
crack.
Reflection of the time.
Banter.
Bounce.
I mean, the amount of women that slapped my ass back in the day. If I'd have went to the police, they'd probably have laughed.
Yeah. To be honest, probably still now, I think men get it disregarded more than women.
But the trolls use this as a kind of all been done for a sexual offence.
Yeah.
Slapping a bird's ass.
But it seems like as well that she was a really young girl.
Same age as me, 22 at the time. Well, how can she be younger in a nightclub? This is another thing.
Because you was the doorman who let it in with their fake ID.
But this is what they get twisted.
No.
You use something. It's like a newspaper. They use something and twist it.
No, I know.
Never believe everything you read, man. There's always something. There's always two sides. I mean, there's 3 sides to a story. There's their story, your story, and the truth.
Okay, thank you for clearing that up, Decca.
You know what I mean, though?
Yeah, I know, I do.
But listen, my womanising days, as I say, go back to that filling the void.
So do you think you still have a problem?
A little bit. I don't have contentment in life. No contentment. I live for the day. The only thing I do now is plan ahead for the podcast. That's it. I don't plan my life. I'm going to book a holiday in 6 months.
Work for that holiday.
I could be dead.
Yeah, of course. I believe that.
That's the way. I know it's a negative thought. It is quite a negative thing because you're not looking forward. You're not looking forward to the future, are you? But it's the way I feel like through life.
So, before the fighting happened, before you started fighting, your drug addiction, your drug use was getting really bad, and you had an overdose, I believe.
2013.
Can you talk us through the overdose?
I sniffed probably...
So, do you know... Sorry.
Probably in one day, probably an ounce.
Fuck off.
You know.
Swear, man. Swear. Can't have been the best of
It must have been bashed, yeah.
Must have been shit.
But still, like, whatever it is you're sniffing, if you're sniffing an ounce of something,
I was
it's going to do
wired to
something to you. It could be just talc.
Yeah.
An ounce of talc's going to kill you, I think. Do you know what I mean?
Well,
Like,
yeah, and ounce
makes
of
sense,
anything,
innit?
but
I was fucking wired to death.
Fuck.
And it's crazy because a woman, I heard voices. I was hearing things when I was high.
Did you stay up for days, or was it just like a one intense fucking night?
I was in bed for 3 weeks.
Fuck.
It was bad. Because when I got high, I didn't want to go home. My mum's...
Mamsy's killing me, like, yeah.
You know something? See, your parents, they know.
God-fearing, innit?
They know when you're on something.
Yeah.
You walk in that door, you're like head down. You know, when you try and put on an act to feel.
Yeah.
But my brother was the worst to like catch me out. My brother just knew when I was
What's your
on
brother
something.
like to you?
He's
Older or younger?
younger.
Okay.
He's he's never been in trouble in his life with the police.
Chalk and cheese.
Good job, family, kids. But he was bad. He knew I was on something all the time. He used to look at me. You know,
Show
your
me
eyes
your
are
eyes.
wired. You ever get that with your family?
Yeah, sure.
Did you ever lie? Did you ever lie to
I'll
them?
try, you know. Even before heroin and that, like I'm talking like weed, cannabis, like, you know. You know,
run
I
up the
was
stairs.
spraying everything, chewing gum, all
Yeah,
that
yeah,
shit. You do it, don't you? You know, you try your best to
It's a lot of
avoid it.
energy, isn't it?
Fucking tiring.
Yeah.
You might as well just be honest with them.
You
You know,
yeah.
you might as well be honest with them. Like, I did. You know, that's what I was saying. Like, for the first 2 years of my heroin addiction, I tried to hide it from my mum, even though the talk of the town or the area was Cullen's on heroin. So when you were saying earlier about, you know, trying to hide things from him, it's sad, isn't it? Like, you know, we try our best, but
Do you know what? See, with addiction, with anything addicted to alcohol, drugs, you're never out of the fire. It's like she triggers. You get trigger points. It's like you now. How long you been clean now?
13 months, coming up to 14. What were you in November? No, I got clean in August, September, October. I'm
14 months.
14 months
Do you
clean.
ever feel? Is there any triggers for you that could lead you back? See, if someone was taking heroin in front of you, would you be tempted?
Probably.
Still now?
Probably.
Thing
yeah.
you couldn't even take.
I work in clinical outreach now, and in there is where they dispense the Subutex, the methadone. Not a problem. It don't bother me in the slightest. But you know, if I see that dark beetle running down that foil and I smell it, I don't know what I do. I don't know. You know, I won't put myself in that position.
See, with heroin, can you tell good heroin with the smell?
Yeah. Otherwise, you'll just be bashed with fucking mannitol or something like that. But you know, even from the color, even from like the way it looks, you know, the texture. You just do it with coke, don't you? You know when it's good gear and when it's not.
Or with coke, it was always that it was like a Tipex smell.
Yeah,
Not like in the bag.
Yeah,
You could smell it. It used to make your nose run.
yeah. It's the same with any drug, innit? You can when you've taken something for so long, you're a connoisseur to. That's that, and it's the same with heroin, same with crack.
See, people always think with because I don't know if you've noticed on my podcast, I get sniffles all the time.
Yeah.
People think that's from the coke. It isn't. It was when I got the wall in my nose knocked through with Bareknuckle fighting. So like one side of my nose is blocked, so the other side runs constantly.
Okay, and let's jump into the fighting then. Let's jump in. How did you become? Talk about leading up to you being titled the Guvnor.
The Gov.
I always had a bit of a weird fascination with Lenny McLean as a kid.
As you said.
Used to watch the tapes, and I used to go to my cousin's house. We used to watch Lenny. We see my cousin Jonathan. He was into all like the hard man stuff, like the Taxman and all these fucking books, and he had all the gangster books.
Taxman Brian, Taxman.
He had all these books of people, Viv Graham, Craze, Hard Bastards, Kate Cray, everything. We used to watch it at his as well, like all the Lenny McLean stuff. I just had a fascination with him. Just, you know, like when you get kids with action figures and He-Man and Transformers and
Skeletor.
Mine was just Lenny McLean,
Yeah.
knocking 10 balls of shit out of people. Crazy. And I used to say when I was little, I want to be a governor. I want to be a governor. I didn't even know what the governor meant then. I just wanted to be a governor. But the governor
It's like you planted
Of
the seed,
Carlisle
innit?
jail. You want to be the governor of the prison.
the governor's more of a street title, like respect. And I always said I want to be a governor.
But there's loads in it, self-proclaimed, isn't it?
Yeah.
Fast forward, 2016, I became the governor.
And this weren't self-proclaimed. This
No.
is like a title. It's like legit.
It's a title owned by Joey Pyle. Joey Pyle Senior held the rights to it, and then Joey Pyle Junior now has the governor title. The fake governor, Gary Furby, one of my trolls, he now claims to be the governor, But he actually got beat in 2000. I think it was 2000. He fought a guy called Sven Hamer, who beat him for the Guvnor title.
He sounds Dutch or Finnish.
Sven Hamer, I can't mind.
Is he British?
He was a good Guvnor because he defended the title a lot of times. Anyways, he beat Gary Furby. Now, Mr. Furby, shithouse, he proclaims to be the Guvnor now. It was all the jealousy with me. People don't see this, right? This man beat me in an unlicensed boxing fight in 2006.
What, so because he beat you then, and now you're the
16
governor,
years ago.
he's classing you as the governor now. It's normally goes on the most recent one.
Yeah, I know.
He beat me 16 years ago. 22-year-old, 2-fight novice, 2 lines of cocaine before I got in the ring.
Well, let me say this, yeah, right? I've watched a couple of fights which have been quite shocking, and I've seen people take dives, and the most shocking one I ever seen was Kimbo Slice in the UFC. And
With
that
Seth-
was a
with Seth-
fucking dive.
Seth Petrozelli.
You've seen it, have you? Where he just spins around and just falls, yeah? Yours was the closest to that. Did you get beat, or did you take a dive?
Why do you want to know?
What do you mean? Of course I want to know. This was an.
Do you know what?
You
I
had
Set
one.
the record straight.
You had one.
You know what I want to do?
You had one answer to that, and then you've changed it. It's like Joe Rogan when he believed, we never went to the moon. Then all of a sudden he believes in the moon landing. So I always go on about the moon, don't I? No, you don't just switch it.
Do you know what I want to do? That I want to let the audience decide because I've seen the fight. Have you
H.
seen it?
Yeah.
Have you seen it?
H, run the clip.
Have you seen it?
Yeah.
What do you think?
You look like you weren't all there, but I genuinely don't think.
No, I didn't think.
It was out of the blue, but when you talk about then, it could be possible that you didn't die.
Have you seen my Bareknuckle fights?
I've seen your other ones, but this is when you was younger, like you said.
Have you seen me take a dig?
Yeah.
I can take a dig. Do you think a man's going to knock me out with one punch?
Listen, in my opinion, you either took a dive, right, or you was beaten before you got in that ring and you did not want to be there. So whether you took a dive or you say you sniffed line, either way,
I had 2
they're
lines
both
of coke before it.
Yeah, they're both plausible excuses.
Did you give up?
But I never took the fight serious.
No.
Why?
Because I knew the outcome.
Oh, yeah?
But I took 2 lines of cocaine before it, didn't I?
Yeah, but like...
Do you know what I used to... You know when you used to unlicensed box?
Yeah.
I done it to feed my coke habit.
Okay.
£500 a fight back in the unlicensed days.
Well, it's a journeyman, like...
Just fucking... But the thing is...
Fall over.
With the Furby fight, people don't realise this. A guy called Mickey German was one of the top unlicensed boxers. I beat him in my first unlicensed boxing fight with no boxing training. My second fight was Gary Furby. Mickey German, my first fight, beat Gary Furby. So
yeah, but that doesn't matter. Like that doesn't matter about stats and records.
But that's why Gary Furby wanted to fight me, because I beat the guy that beat him.
To prove it wrong, yeah.
And 2 fat lines of cocaine and a few £100 extra in the bank, Bum.
What do you mean extra in the... See, you're basically trying to hint there that you took a dive.
Yeah.
I just want people to watch the fight and decide for themselves.
Okay. Record after that then. What is your record in the in the unlicensed boxing?
Unlicensed boxing, I had... I think it was 13.
You had 16.
16. I drew 2 with the Stephen Miller and David Price first fight. In the harebells, it lasted 55 minutes.
Were they your toughest fights?
The toughest fight was probably the David Price one in the heat. Fractured rib. I actually went.
How long did that go on for?
Well, probably over 55, over an hour.
What?
Yeah, and last man, innit? Last man.
What?
Yeah.
An hour?
But the thing you got to remember.
Fuck off.
You've got to remember this as well, Cole.
Fucking hell.
You've got to remember this though. Is I went into that fight with a fractured rib in sparring.
And an answer cork up my nose.
I was clean.
An hour of fighting with a broken rib.
I was clean then. I had a fractured rib.
Fractured
Fucking
rib.
hell.
And I was
Hour.
clean then.
Was it? Yeah, but there must have been times in that fight where you're just both hugging each other for the. There's no way you're going in.
Do you know what? The full fight never got put up.
Fuck.
But it was brutal. Broken thumb, fractured eye socket. Took us like 3 months to recover because I had sunstroke as well.
I've seen the one fight where you broke that guy's jaw and you can hear
You hear
it.
it snap
I've
in
seen
America.
that. That's mad. Is that the warehouse fight?
Go on, Decca. Go on.
And again, Decca! Take him out of the way! Wait, guys. Nice, Decca, nice! Again! Kill that motherfucker!
Go on, Decca!
The guy in the background's actually James Quinn McDonough.
Okay.
Remember the documentary Knuckle?
Oh, yeah. Is it? Was he like your fucking...
It was just
your
with us.
coach?
He was over
How
there.
did you end up fighting in America?
Because I got offered, I got a chance to fight in America.
Good money or no?
It was in a warehouse.
In
Don't
a gang-
matter.
you
No, it
said
don't
in
matter
a-
where it is, though.
It was in a
good?
gangster
Did you get paid
neighbourhood,
for it?
I
Yeah,
heard.
it's not good money.
What area was you in then?
Yeah, what was the area?
Philadelphia.
Philly. I'm Decca Heggie. I'm in Philly.
In West Philadelphia.
It was
Born and raised.
he's in like a gangster neighbourhood. I didn't know the guy. The guy was actually fucking cocky as fuck before the fight. Hey man, I'm gonna kick this Englishman's ass. And I was just sitting back at it, didn't bother.
Dude.
Yeah.
And then just when did you hear that bit?
I
the
gotta
crack?
yeah. I gotta give it to you. You know, I've watched a lot of you like fight. You know, after the fight, you sat there, you kind of fucking Carlisle, like I am the good. Like you seem proper humble, and I like you. Don't seem like a cocky guy when you was in them. You know that stage of fighting, and I like in your life.
Thing is
you
with
seem very
fighting-
calm.
The thing is, with
Just get it
fighting,
done.
Like the post interviews that I'd watch, he's such a he's just a humble
Nice
guy,
guy.
as if he hasn't even scrapped. Like, do you know what I mean?
because there's always you got to remember in life, there's always somebody harder, isn't there?
Yeah,
See, fighting, anyone could beat you.
yeah. Anyone can knock anyone out.
See, you've got to be confident in a fight. Go in thinking you're going to win. But when you've won and you've had that fight, you come back down to reality.
You ever watch
don't you?
Bloodsport? Jean-Claude
Van
Van
Damme
Damme.
quality.
You know the guy he fights? He got the big African guy, and he goes. And he's like, and he just gives him a drop kick and he kills him. No, but that's what people are like.
Play the clip here.
Alison, play the clip.
Run the clip.
No, that's fucking quality, mate. Like, when someone comes in and they think they're fucking the dog's bollocks and just get outed, like, there's a bit of that in it as well, where you don't want to act cocky because you're going to get fucked up. Well, if you do get fucked up, you're looking like a twat.
I didn't have fear. Do you know what? My whole mental health in life has been because of fear of life. People don't understand the fear of life. The fear of life comes in all sorts of different things. Scared of letting people down, feeling like you're going to be a failure. You know yourself, Cole. We create a scenario, we create a molehill into a mountain out of a situation that's nothing. So just say, for example, right, Decca,
We create a mountain out of a molehill, sorry, yeah.
you've got a fight in 3 months. For that 3 months, I'll sit and replay the fight in my head. If I get beat, but I'm negative, me.
A fight you had then, or you're
Any
about to?
fights, if I get beat, I'll lose my reputation. If I
Yeah,
get
yeah.
beat, people won't think good of me. If I get beat, I'm not going to... The pressure,
Is it like being unbeaten as well adds to that pressure, don't
just
it?
putting the pressure on myself.
Yeah.
Nobody expects anything, but we do. We think people are judging us, but they're not.
What was the worst time during your fighting career you was? When was you at your lowest in your fighting career? Would you say the Gary Furby time, or was it more recently?
I had an unlicensed boxing fight in 2017. And I had a panic attack in the corner.
During the fight?
I had an anxiety attack in the middle of the round, in the corner, like after the second round. Couldn't breathe.
Because of the people
I
watching?
went out and won.
The people watching, maybe?
Just the fear of losing. What you do is, Cole, sometimes you think, I don't know whether you get this, you could have a bad week, right? But the anxiety doesn't come until the week after.
Yeah.
So you've created all these negative thoughts in your head, but it's the week later that you start getting anxiety.
No, I agree with that.
You've done, like I said, you don't deal with it. You're just going to keep it in the back of your head. It's not gone anywhere,
Pressure cooker.
and then it comes out. Then
It's like paracetamol, innit?
yeah,
You're masking the pain of your tough.
yeah.
But when that wears
When
off,
that wears off, it comes in. It
Fucking
comes out like
tenfold.
ton of bricks.
That was probably the reason for a lot of my drug taking and stuff and alcohol abuse.
So why did you stop fighting? Like, what was the climax to that?
Probably, you got to remember, when I used to Bareknuckle fight, I used to come home to my mum's blusted up. I used to walk through that door with black eyes and bust nose and won. Come in, mum, I've won. But it's just worry, isn't it, to your family? Your parents, you go into a fight.
Well, yeah, like you said, your mum and dad, even your brother, they care about you, they worry about you. Must have been horrible for them.
Bad. But it wasn't just that, the money wasn't good. You're getting bust up and broken bones and stuff, what for? To satisfy other people's imaginations of, oh yes, fucking gonna go see a good fight. Good, but what for? What are you fighting for?
Did the Guvnor title, do you think it was being the Guvnor champion or whatever it is, do you think that's what helped you get into films and stuff? Or do you think you would have got that after fighting anyway?
I think the Governor kind of helped because when I won the Governor title, it was a few months later that I was actually approached to go in Lenny McLean's True Life movie.
That's what I'm saying. It's got to be some type.
It was.
How did
It's
that make you
weird how
feel?
that all happened. Isn't it?
How did that make you feel, knowing like
Someone
you're
up
just a normal guy?
It was after the fight against Price in the heat. Lenny McLean's son, it was a guy called Dave Daly. And it was a guy called Dave Daly actually came up. He put a word in for me, put my name forward for the Lenny McLean True Life movie. Now you think about this. The man that I was actually idolising as a kid, I ended up not only getting a book published by the same publisher as Lenny McLean, but I ended up in his True Life film. Getting my ass kicked off Lenny McLean.
When you was a kid and you said that to your teacher, you planted that seed.
Do you know what? I was going to say as well, like, if there's anyone you're going to get your ass kicked by,
Was
it's
Lenny?
going to be
Lenny?
Lenny, innit?
What about
Unbelievable.
Sure as well? What do you think of him as a fighter? Did you look up to him? Or?
Just they were all hard men, weren't they?
Yeah.
The thing is, when I've started doing my podcast show now, because I've done a lot of research, I would say probably the hardest out of them all would be between Lenny McLean and Paul Sykes.
Paul Sykes.
Have you seen his documentaries?
No.
That fun side and his character and
Well, they were
was he
they were
fighting in the
hardest one.
70s as well?
70s, 80s and 90s. I mean, you got Lee Duffy from Middlesbrough Teesside,
Legend.
Viv
Graham.
all tough men.
They were all those two were meant to fight, weren't they? It never happened.
Then you've got like Hartlepool, Richie Horsley,
Horsley, yeah.
Mick Sorby that I interviewed in my podcast.
Sorby, yeah. You've had some great guests, haven't
Yeah,
you?
you have had a few.
So the films, let's just run a little preview to people. What type of films could they see you in if they ever come across them?
I was in the start of the cameo role in My Name is Lenny. Then I did The Corrupted, with Sam Claflin out of Peaky Blinders.
Yeah, is that the one? Is that the one where you've done the where you
Digging the Hole.
Yeah, there's loads of classic British movie stars in that one.
Hugh Bonneville,
Yeah,
Noel Clarke, Sam Claflin, who's in Peaky Blinders now, who plays Mosley. Is it Mosley?
You're in that Noel Clark's
Bulletproof.
as well.
I was in Bulletproof.
the Russian.
The Russian.
Oh,
the best scene.
Will you do me a
That's the
favour?
best scene.
Will you do me a favour? Will you do the dead? You know the when they find you in the cell. That was you. Will you do that to the camera? To the camera.
Gotta be
What?
done.
Do the face
Dude,
was
when
it?
you're dead.
What did I do?
I watched that. The scene's wicked though.
I've been
Before when they're
practicing-
throwing you round and all
Yeah.
that.
Oh, the
I've been-
fighting scenes.
yeah.
are
I've been
class.
practicing me and well, it's like more like a bear. I don't know. What would you say this is?
Go on.
You come to me.
It's like a.
You come to me for favor, huh? You
in a
come
bit.
to me with 2 kilo cocaine, huh? This is good shit.
Come in a bit to the mic if you can, Deck, innit? Just so we can hear you a bit more. That's all.
Clear as day.
Yeah, no, it's just. Yeah, sounds better.
You hoping to
Yeah.
play an American gangster then?
Well, do you know what? I haven't been in a film now I haven't done a movie for about 2 years. I miss it.
Do you?
I haven't got an agent though.
Did you have
There's
an
any agents
agent?
out there? I did, but COVID fucked that. The pandemic just completely
Yeah.
fucked it.
Do you think any of the trollings ruined any of your chances as well? Would you say?
No, but what happens is with the trolling, is they target anybody close to me or any work that I do get.
Yeah.
So just say I went in a film, then
They go into fucking ITV studios to say
They'll
you've got
phone
a
them.
guy in here who's a
Phone up.
fucking wrong un.
the phone up, they target all my guests. Lucky enough, most of the guests.
I had someone message me. I only went on yours. You didn't even come on mine.
Yeah, but see, when this goes out, you'll get hammered.
Yeah, it is what it is. It is what it is. We know we're doing a good thing, you know. So, and we're just voicing. You know, it's a voice for adversity here. Like, do you see what I mean? It doesn't matter what your story is. We're trying to get your side of the story, and yeah. So, the film's great. What made you decide to become a podcaster?
It was crazy because I went on Sean Atwood, done James English. That was it. And then what happened was actually in July 2020, I was going through a really dark time, like really bad. Just wanting to not be here. And then me and my friend Ryan decided to go doing all the Munros. Did in Scotland, Loch Lee, Mare and Dreesh, did all the mountains and stuff. And then we said, right, let's do the big boy. Let's do Ben Nevis. Right? So we got to Ben Nevis. We camped out on the morning, went on the night, went on the morning. And then when I got, it's crazy this call, because when I got to the top of Ben Nevis, it's like an epiphany. I visualised it. So I got to it's crazy this. Got to the
told
top.
me this, yeah.
Got to the top of Ben Nevis, and we sat down on the rock. And I says to my pal, I'm going to do a podcast show.
Never even thought about it before. Not even like you was walking up to the mountain thinking of like your last podcast and what could be. You just come out of nowhere.
Out of nowhere. I'm going to do a podcast show. And I'm going to make it big.
And what did he say?
Just looked. I've spoken to him since. He went, Decca, you were fucking right. But when I came down from Ben Nevis and went home, I actually wrote, and this is what I mean about plant the seed, positive affirmation. When I got home, I actually wrote a note, and I've still got that note. In 18 months, this is October 2020, in 18 months, I will have one of the biggest podcasts in Britain.
Writing is so powerful.
And you know what you do? Stick it on the fridge, look at it every day and read it to yourself. Planting the seed, sending the positive vibes into the universe.
Affirmations.
That's what I did. And look at it now. Controversy, entertainment. Crazy.
Acting.
One thing, well, this is what I'm going to say now, because one thing a lot of people always say is Decca, do your positive stuff. obviously you're getting attacked by trolls. Is a lot of it an act?
None. Not the trolling stuff.
When did you start
but
getting...
like, do you over-exaggerate? Do you make videos sometimes just to make up something?
No, it's heat of the moment.
Okay.
Now, people will think, oh, Decca, why are you flipping? Why ignore them? Rise above it. I'm being real. See, when you watch my show, I had a panic attack. I had an anxiety attack with the podcast last week with the Irish lad from Let's Talk podcast. When people see me in the moment of flipping or having a rant, it's real. Do you know why? Because my show brings the good, the bad and the ugly. Nothing staged. And I don't want people to think I'm living a fake life of being happy 24/7. I'm showing them every version of me. That's what I'm doing. People might say, oh, well, Decca, chill, take a deep breath, don't go on and make a video. Sometimes I want people to see me at my worst. And the people following me at my worst, they're the ones that deserve your best.
You're bang on there, mate. I can't fault you for saying that.
It's like me. I'll have moments of madness in my life. I do outbursts. I do crazy things. Things with my mental health and the bipolar. Sometimes I lose all sense of reality and just go off it. Drink, go crazy, flip out, smash things up. But see the people that accept that and stand by me through it.
Yeah.
They're the ones that deserve the best of me. And listen, it's easy for people to walk away. Don't get me wrong. Listen, when you take a liberty with people in life, people will walk away. But they're the people that don't know the full you. They're just seeing that side of you, but they haven't seen the best of you. And I get it.
Yeah.
It's good to show your worst times and your best times.
It is, but sometimes, you can't. I do take the piss sometimes in life. Take liberties, you know what I mean? Like, you take a liberty without realising you're taking a liberty. Sometimes, like, it's like me with my friends I've got friends that I'll ask them for things on a regular basis. And I'll say, Decca, you're taking the piss a little bit here. But I don't realise I'm taking the piss.
Yeah.
I get too comfortable. That's what it is, comfort.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
When did you start getting the trolls attacking you then? Like when? Like
2019.
To the people who don't know, Decca's, you're having it quite hard. You have for the last 2 years, like you said, and you don't know how to hide your emotions, or maybe, like you just said, you want to show your emotions. Sometimes it's quite worrying to look at, especially when I've spoken to you now for at least 3 to 4 months, nearly on a daily basis, and there'll be times where you are so happy. You'll wake up in the morning, start singing down the phone.
I'll send you a voice, man.
What's going on? Good morning, Central Club. What's going on, call this and that. Sometimes he'll talk and talk and talk. We'll go back and forth. And he'll leave it on something important. And I won't hear from him till the next day. And the next day he's really down. Like, sometimes it's in a day. Because it's so hectic with you. And that's obviously mental health as well. Can you describe us the extent of the trolling, the accusations? What are the accusations? And where do you think they have all started from?
That's simple, isn't it? If the rumours were, I've said this to you before, if the rumours were true about me, I would be the Cumbrian version of Ted Bundy.
You are? No, what was it?
Decca Bundy.
The Cumbrian Ripper? No.
It would be, wouldn't it?
Well, what people I see...
See all the things that they say about
What
me.
are the rumours? Let people know.
Apparently I'm a nonce. People that don't know that, they say I'm a paedophile. Interfere with children. I'm a rapist. I'm a sexual deviant. I'm a sexual...
I
am a bit of a deviant. I like the women. I like sex. So sexual deviant... What does even sexual deviant mean?
I don't know. It sounds weird. It sounds evil.
Like an info.
I love...
I've said that, and I just think that's what it is. People don't like how, like...
I'm going to be honest. I love sex. Do you know what I love about sex? For me, it used to be like for self-satisfaction. But obviously, like, as you get older and in relationships, and so it's more like it's like a comfort. It's a good thing. Is for me, sex now that I never used to appreciate. Sex
balance.
now is now like got to be connection, feelings, got to mean something.
Yeah, no, I know what you mean. I know what you
But,
mean.
yeah,
so,
man.
So basically, yeah, that's what I think personally. People, but there's been people out there who have offered to pay DBS deep checks. Like, what's going on with all this?
Basically, I'm Jimmy Savile 2.0, Anna. That's what the trolls say.
That's what they say.
It also, do you know where it stemmed from?
Yeah, go on.
The trolling started in 2019 when me and a lady, 22-year-old, so she's a consenting adult, engaged in sexual talk over WhatsApp, right? Unbeknownst to me, Danny Christie was sitting next to this lady recording it.
So
He
what
set it up.
problems he got with you though at that time?
Me and him never had a problem. All his tirades came from jealousy, as you've probably seen on YouTube and my channel and my bell ringing expose. It's all linked. Christie set this up, and the voice messages of me saying about a baby's arm. Right? The voice messages actually were posted up on Facebook, and then a few weeks later introduce the humble dryer trolling
So
campaign.
that voice note of where you're saying sexual things was to the woman who was
She was 22.
she was a fake. She was like just
No, she was real.
That was set up.
No, she was real.
Yeah, but Danny was there setting it up. So this one weren't even that's how that came out.
It was
yeah?
kind of like an agenda against you.
Yeah.
Okay, and then what's the other girl then? There's another girl who apparently done a video saying
Geraldine.
Yeah.
Oof. Well, this is on my expose here. Do you want to know the story?
Yeah, I do.
So we got you down for a Decca?
Yeah. Controversy. Do you want
on.
controversy, people? Geraldine lived over the road to me for about 11 years. And we started having sexual relations about 2018, leading into 2019. It was never a relationship. I never ever told that it was a relationship. I never told that I loved her. She was into me. She had a crush on me for years. She told me she had a crush.
And you let her know from the start that would never work.
What do you mean?
A relationship would never work.
It was just, I wasn't like, it wasn't, you know when you're just fucking a bird, but I know it sounds weird, ladies,
No.
You know when you just, it's sex.
Yeah, but sometimes you might lead
Yeah,
them on.
you do.
Yeah.
That's what I've done.
Yeah.
But I never told her I loved her. But anyways, so we're having sex for a year. Then what happened was she texted my mum on the Friday, like it was a Friday morning, and she said, I'll tell Decca I'll be over soon. We'll come to the doctors with him because we've got the doctors. And she came to the doctors with me. And then we got back on that Friday. She came to my house back with me, and says that I've had the injection taken out my arm. I've been trying to get pregnant. What the fuck? You know when you're just like, Never told me. I've had the injection taken out. Is it that what is an injection?
Yeah.
The
rods.
I've been trying to get pregnant here. First thing, I was like, get the fuck out of my house. Get the fuck out of my house. I flipped like I did flip. Get the fuck out of my house and don't ever speak to me again. Never, ever spoke to her again. Right? Then 6 months later, she was on the Humble Dryer page, the trolling campaign, writing comments, and as you'll see in the expose that comes out, she's in conversation with people saying that I've done this and that to her, I've sexually abused her, blah, blah, blah. I'm looking at this and I'm thinking, what the fuck? What? And then, listen to this. This is crazy. She then told, it was a mum that told somebody that got back to me, that apparently she came round to my house, this is before the Friday, she came to my house on the Tuesday, I raped her while my dad was upstairs in bed, right? I raped her in my house, in my mum's house, my dad was upstairs, right? She went home, and she came back on the Friday 3 days later, and I raped her again. Why would you go back to someone's house the second time you've been raped the first time, right? Listen to this. We actually had sex on that Tuesday. I fucked her. Right? But on the Friday, that's where she's fucked up now, because we never had sex. we went to the doctors on that Friday when she texted my mum to say, I'm coming to get Decca to go to the doctors. And she came back to my house, and that's when we had the argument, when we fell out, that she was trying to get pregnant, and I told her to fuck off. So she said that I raped her on the Tuesday, I raped her on the Friday. We actually had sex on the Tuesday, but on the Friday, we didn't. She came to the doctors with me. Now, this is all came about because I didn't want to be with her. I didn't have feelings. And I told her to fuck off. So what happened then was, she's writing on this trolling campaign on the page, on the Humble Dryer, interacting with all these people. And now, finding out everything that I have, the Humble Dryer, who will be revealed in the expose, paid her £300 to make the video. My trolls paid this woman to make a video, but listen to this. This is even going to be in the expose. She didn't give the trolls permission to post the video up. So they've
taken advantage of her.
Yeah, they've tricked her, they've groomed her, talked her into saying all this shit about me, but I think we're going to show it in the expose some of the stuff that she says.
Who is the Humble Dryer?
But if I say her now...
The fucking Humble Dryer.
If I say her now...
It gets me every time.
What a name.
Have you got anything you can give us, some little sneak peeks of anything?
The Humble Dryer is from Scotland, Prestwick.
What's he got against you, though?
I don't know him.
So,
but listen to this.
Stranger.
Humble Dryer is linked to Danny Christie.
So what is the crack with... What's going on with you and Danny?
Now, this girl, though, was writing on the Humble Dryer page, right? But I'm going to get into this. The girl was writing on the Humble Dryer page. They've groomed her, got her to say all this shit, and then posted the video without her permission. Yeah. And I'll say this, show this on the expo. She shows under the video, I have not given permission for this to go up. So they've fucked her over, really. But anyways, Danny Christie is linked to the Humble Dryer. Who is the Humble Dryer?
Listen, right, it's all negative, isn't it, really?
Do you have an inkling? Or?
But you got to speak. I know.
No, I know.
Oh, you know.
It's going in my expose.
Listen, I know, and it's fucking sad, but do you think we're ever going to see a time where you will be happy with just doing your podcasting or just getting on with your fucking life?
Yeah,
when is this going to stop, Deck?
This whole trolling has totally changed me.
Trolling's never going to stop with anyone. We've learned that. We know that in life.
We've got.
When are you going to? Or will you always be this way until you lose your fucking marbles?
This cyberbullying, it didn't bother me until my family was brought into it. When they started tagging my parents and my nieces and nephews and my brother's children and phoning my brother's kids' school, that's when it got personal.
Why are they phoning the school? I just don't get it.
Fucking weirdos, man. And the thing is, I accept cyberbullying. Like, I accept trolls.
Yeah.
It's part of life. It pushes the podcast. Like Sean Atwood, when I learned from him, it pushes the algorithm of the videos. But when they get personal with family, that was it. But you're saying, when will it ever stop? It probably never will. But now, once the expose goes out, I'll never entertain it again.
Put it to bed there.
So we have to break it up soon, but I'm sure we'll get you down again. What's the future holding for Decca Heggie? What have you got planned for 2022?
Building a great podcast show. My life and soul goes into it. But not just that. I'm not just working on my podcast. I'm trying to work on myself. I'm having blips. I'm having ups and downs, and it's a roller coaster. But I think sometimes in life that you have to make mistakes to be able to learn and grow as a person. Because if we're perfect, it's not a learning curve, is it, in life?
No.
You've got to keep making mistakes. And it sounds crazy, this.
No.
But every mistake you make...
Every day is a school day.
Yeah.
Albert Einstein says, only an idiot knows everything.
I know a couple of them. Well, they think they know everything.
But do you know what, Collins? For me, I'm just constant. I'm trying to learn and grow.
Yeah.
Listen, you can only grow in life. Growth comes from working out your comfort zone.
100%.
See, you know, when you've came off your drug addiction, you never ever thought when you were on heroin you were doing a podcast.
No. I didn't think it when I got
in a way, you're working out your comfort zone.
100%.
But you're growing with it.
It's doing it,
But you're growing as a person.
Yeah, most definitely. I'm a better person for it, you know. So, I got a couple of what you rather questions here for you, Deck. Only light-hearted ones, but just give me one or the other. All right. Excuse me. Would you rather fight in the hay bales or the ring?
Hay bales.
Why?
Because it's last man standing. I prefer last man standing fights.
Okay.
Rounds is just boxing rules, isn't it?
So them hay bales are the ones you've done 55 minutes in.
Brilliant.
You've done 55 minutes in a fucking space.
What's the longest
Loved
fight
it.
you've done?
That David Price one.
That's naughty, that is. Fist or gloves?
Fists.
Book or film?
Film.
You do your podcast. You sat here now doing a live. You said you'd like to do a studio. But would you do live or pre-record?
Live because it's real.
We're not real.
No, the reason why I started...
There's many reasons to why we pre-record, and that ain't one of them. We keep it organic.
But I pre-record. I still do that.
Yeah, we're real. We're real.
Yeah. The reason
I know
why,
what you're trying to say. You're trying to say...
The reason why I do the lives is because nothing's edited and it's raw and real, where the fact that if you say something, it's out.
You're in front of
we like to do it as well, though, just to paint pictures with the episode. So when we pre-record, we can then edit photos in and stuff.
Would you consider starting live shows?
Lives.
We are going to be doing lives. We're doing midweek lives. We're going to keep the Sunday for classic podcast pre-record. But we're going to start doing lives because we've had so many I've turned down. You know, Deck. I've had some great guests I've turned down because could have done 1,000. So we will eventually, 100%. Peaceful protest or by any means necessary?
It's a tricky one, that. It depends what the subject is. If it's to do with the pandemic and all that, you're fighting for your freedom, aren't you? By any means necessary.
Teamwork or lone wolf?
There's two ways about this, because in life I'm a lone wolf. But when I work as a team, teamwork builds success. Teamwork
makes the dream.
Because if you listen, you're nothing. It's like your podcast now, it's nothing without the team.
Oh, we've said that a million and one times.
See the camera guys and
People
stuff.
don't see what goes behind.
See the camera guys and the sound. They're what make the podcast tick. We just sit there with a mic and talk.
Don't be clapping hands behind the camera, you fucking gimps.
we just do the easy part.
Yeah,
but all the hard work is done in the background, isn't it?
100%.
It's like my guy Axel. He's got a full-time job, but he spends all of his fucking hours with me, like on editing.
Yeah.
And you're like me. We get impatient.
Oh, massively.
We're perfectionists. But we try and run before we can walk.
Yeah, that's the thing. Sometimes I'm a perfectionist, but sometimes I'll let it out when it's not perfect because I just want it out.
Yeah, the patience thing is.
Do you know what the benefit about being bipolar is? When you get obsessed with
well, there's
things.
a benefit to it, is there?
Yeah. You get obsessed with things. Like when you get with the podcast, I'm obsessed.
Yeah.
I want to succeed. I want to grow.
You put your heart and soul into it.
It's just like an obsession.
So we could just say a bit of teamwork then, really. Let's stick to teamwork, innit? Because
teamwork's vital.
Which I'm like...
Teamwork's vital.
Yeah. All right, then I ask these to everyone. Are you a mild or a spice?
Mild.
Me too. Are you a flat earther or a round earther?
Round earth.
If you could explore one of these, deep sea or deep space?
I'm scared of water. Scared of deep water.
Everyone says it, don't they?
I'm scared of deep water.
But if you weren't, would you? You must be.
It's crazy because I'm scared of heights, so I wouldn't want to fly up to space. I'm scared of deep water.
If you never had any of them fucking fears, which would you do? Deep sea or deep space?
Deep sea, because there's unknown down there. Where space, we know there's planets and Mars.
We don't know. It's mad.
But you don't know what's up there, really, do you?
Definitely life, isn't there?
Is there
You've got to be a dickhead to think there's no other living beings.
Is there an end, like an edge?
What do you mean?
Is there an edge, like
of what?
The universe.
Universe. I think
you just hit like.
No, I think
you can't go no further.
I think the universe is unlimited, isn't it?
infinite.
That's what I mean.
That's not an edge.
Created by the
That's
Big
no,
Bang.
but what I'm trying to say
do you
is
think?
there an edge?
Yeah, it's peak, innit? All right, then. Final one. If you could have 2 superpowers, one for yourself and one to help humanity, what would they be?
One, reading women's minds.
This is why people think you are fucking nuts. You just love women, don't you?
I just know.
Why women? Like, could have everyone.
Not just anyone's
Have
mind.
you ever seen
You don't want to read my mind.
Have you seen the movie What Women Want with
Yeah,
Mel
yeah,
Gibson?
yeah, it's
where they
quality.
can actually hear what they're thinking.
yeah.
I would love that.
Yeah.
And one for humanity.
And the other superpower would be to kind of like time travel. Just go to a place whenever I want.
Yeah.
In what time or
No, what are you on about? Whoa.
No,
I
one-
asked one for yourself and one for humanity. You've given me 2 for yourself. That's selfish, man. One for yourself, one to help humanity. You traveling everywhere, ain't helping no one.
Oh yeah.
Go on, Deck.
for humanity.
So, like, like cure world hunger.
Nah, for humanity, it's horrible seeing the kids suffering, like Africa and stuff. It's like poor countries. It's horrible because imagine that. I've got nieces and nephews. Imagine them starving and stuff.
It's easy to take what you have for granted, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, look at us, right? When I have a plate of food, when we waste that bit of food, someone in Africa would absolutely fucking give the right arm for that.
Think of
No
all the
wasting
waste.
it.
Think of all the wasted food.
Why don't they send it to Africa?
Because it'd be fucking mouldy by the time it gets there. If you've just eaten a sandwich and it's
Freeze
like
it and store
fucking
it.
corner left, like. But I know what you're saying.
Ship in the
It is.
crust.
We take it for granted,
No,
like,
yeah.
because it's wasted food. They're not going to eat it. You're not going to take it. Maybe if you could transport there, maybe with one of your superpowers, then you could feed in the corner of your
Yeah.
sandwich.
So
Hey.
a time travel thing.
A slice of toast on our plate is like a lifetime to the people in
100%.
Africa, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's easy to take it for granted, mate.
Listen, Decca, is there anything you'd like to tell the people watching down the camera? Anything you want to settle or any words of wisdom? Your final words to the viewers of the Central Club down that camera.
Well, this has been a very, very positive. I mean, I thought it was going to be controversial because I thought I was actually going to go off my head, and I haven't. I've been calm.
Told you that.
Do you know what? I'm going to leave the BS out and just say that people watching me with tattoos and in shape and go to the gym, people think that, you don't suffer mental health, and you do. It's important for me and for yous to talk to someone because many men and women commit suicide due to the fact that mental health grows like a cancer in your mind. If you don't speak about it, it gets worse and worse and worse till one day someone takes their own life. You've got to be at the lowest of the low to take your own life. But I'm telling you now, speaking out and being completely honest with yourself and to the person that you're with, your family, your mum, your dad, your brother, your sister, your friend, that moment there where you're telling someone about how you feel, it's like a massive weight off your shoulder. People don't understand this, Cole.
No, it's
Yeah.
like a
They
key.
think that they feel ashamed.
When I came out about everything, it was just like
Did you feel, wow?
the most, the people I thought would laugh, rip the piss, and have no time for me. It was the total opposite. They were the ones there. I just, everyone embraced me.
And you're not, but the thing is, when you do that, you're not cured forever because you're going to run into something else that's going to make you feel away. So it's about always speaking
Yeah,
about
yeah,
it. So
yeah,
keep it regular as well.
Yeah.
Even if you've had a little argument with your boss at work, you've got to speak to someone about
That's
that.
why I always speak on publicly about mental health. I speak publicly about it because I'm helping someone. But it makes me feel good that I'm speaking about it. And I can publicly.
That's your
Where
therapy.
some people could find it hard to speak to someone in person, I can actually now look down the camera and tell people how I feel.
Thank you.
Seek
Decca.
help.
Beauty of it.
What? Go on. Seek help.
Just seek help.
I thought you said
Speak
seek help.
speak to someone.
Yeah.
Seek colour as well if you want.
Seek Cullen,
Yeah,
seek
of course.
Decca.
Of course. Listen, Decca, man, honestly, it's been a pleasure. We've had a wild
Thank
couple
you.
of days. Yeah, but we'll keep that to ourselves. But listen, thank you very much for coming down. I'm glad we kept it in the realms of positivity. We touched on some,
Could have went
negative
another
things.
way, but
Some
you know
real
what?
life
It's-
stuff.
Yeah.
Listen, there's always another time, yeah? I wish you all
And
the
there will
best.
be, I'm sure.
I hope you have a lovely Christmas, and hopefully we can get you down another time. Guys, I hope you've enjoyed the show. If you haven't already, like, comment, share, subscribe. Also, check out Decca's podcast, the All or Nothing podcast. He has some great guests, the same as me. But if you want to hear a bit of controversy, get over there as well, because I'm sure he can post a couple of mad videos once or twice a day, something like that. Thank you very much, everyone. Stay central.
Stay central.
The Central Club.